Wildcat fans, we're back again for our Wildcat football preview show, brought to you this week by the Dooley Law Firm. I'm Athletic Director Dustin Curtis, along with head football coach Stuart Young, and today his teammates, so to speak, are quarterback Stephen Cagle and tight end Wes Gorsage. Welcome, guys.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Well, Coach Young, I know, I don't know about you, but I always have a love-hate relationship with a bye week. On one hand, you're ready for a break. It's good to rest up, take a step back, take a breath, focus on some fundamentals. If you want to tweak any scheme changes, it's a good time to do it. But then by the time that second Monday rolls around, I feel like I'm about ready to play on Tuesday night. But just kind of tell me, do you ever have any of those feelings, and how did the players handle the bye week?
Yes, sir. First of all, my voice is acting up this morning. I apologize. But yeah, I mean, you get to go back and kind of go through some scenarios that you might have missed, things that you don't do every week, such as safety kicks and, where does the ball go in overtime, or, anything like that you can hit on. You can get the guys an extra day of rest is always important. Coaches as well. A lot of time goes into this thing, and to get an extra day of rest on like a Monday and a Friday without the stress, that can help everybody's emotions. But like you said, once you get back to the game week, it's almost like I'm ready to go. So that's kind of how it is to me as well.
Yeah. Well, tell us about how the players responded to the bye week, especially coming off back-to-back heartbreakers. Do you feel like you saw some growth in your guys these past few weeks?
Well, excuse me. The first heartbreaker, I felt like we were down a little bit and bounced back a little bit later than maybe we, during the week. But I felt this time around we came into the bye week feeling, we performed well 2 weeks in a row. We just didn't, we lost at the end. And the kids did everything that I asked them to do, that we as coaches asked them to do against Greenwood. We played our tails off, and I think the attitude has been really good coming out of that game, and I think our practice has showed that. So hopefully it'll translate on the field tonight.
Yeah. Well, Coach Cagle played quarterback in high school at AC Flora. I was actually his position coach at one point in time. He went on to play at Charleston Southern under now Liberty coach Jamie Chadwell. And he's got some great perspective as a coach, because not only did he grow up around a defensive coordinator for a father, but he played quarterback where he had to know a lot about the passing game, even though it was a run-oriented offense. And then he goes and plays tight end in college. We got Wes here, who's also a tight end. Just kind of a unique football build for you, right, Coach Cagle?
Yeah, I mean, growing up around my dad played D-line and outside linebacker at Furman, and so his fingers were real fat. And on the old VHS tapes, I'd have to hit rewind for him all the time when he would watch film. So seeing it from a defense corner's brain, and then playing quarterback in high school, my dad always called me soft. But then you go to Charleston Southern, and I was too fat and slow to play triple option quarterback, and so they moved me to tight end. And because it was triple option, it was pretty hard to learn, and that's really the only reason I got to play. And Coach Chadwell, my position coach, so getting to sit in film room with him for an hour and a half every day, learning every single position, because you're part running back, part wide receiver, part tight end. That's what makes Wes so special, is he can do all that stuff. So that was one of the best things for me as a coach, is because I went through fundies with O-line, wide receivers. I worked out with the quarterbacks.
Yeah.
And then the first year, Newland Isaac, who's the co-OC at Liberty, who's the running backs coach, was my position coach. So
yeah. Well, Coach Cagle's quarterback room has gone through the gauntlet this year. Starting quarterback Avery Coyle, been out since the preseason. Hopeful to get him back really soon. I think you've also probably had every other quarterback at some point in time get a little nicked up. But how are we health-wise heading into this Friday?
It's crazy, because yesterday we were warming up, and Max Cooper's out there who plays on the JV and has played really well, and LB, who plays the freshman. They're the only ones who haven't come out of a game this year injured.
How about that?
And, it even goes back to, Brennan Carter was a junior, and he's going to come back his senior year and re-tears his ACL in the spring.
Yeah.
So then Avery had a great summer. looks really good, has taken major strides, and then he breaks that hand, and thought we were getting him back, and end up he's got to wear it for 2 more weeks, and they'll reevaluate it after that. And Evan Geiger's played, Easton's played, and they've done a great job. And that room it's really made that room really tight knit, where they just root for each other. I just tell them to make sure they wear their seatbelts every time they drive home, because you have no clue what's going to happen every day.
That's right. Well, Wes, we've all the guys in this room, we remember what it's like to be a football player at 17 years old, and that comes with the ability for the teenage male to be super competitive and sometimes pretty irrational. It seems like it was a constant fight to make sure our mature side came out on top. But how have you as a player, and how have some of your senior teammates especially responded to these close losses, and how what have you done, or some of the leaders on the team done to keep guys focused and together?
Well, I think the 2 losses we had just kind of fired us up even more, just because, I think both those games we should have won.
Yeah.
So I think we're ready, more ready than we have been, to go out there and beat Lawrence, and I think that's just how it is.
If y'all don't know, he has a very good tight end voice, doesn't he, Coach Cagle?
Yeah.
That's
I called him on the phone last night about this morning, and I was like, I thought I was talking to Batman for a second.
Well, the Lawrence Raiders come into Wildcat Hollow sitting at 0-4. They've only scored 17 points this season, but that doesn't always tell the whole story. I know last year they had a very physical running back, I think missed some time against us, presented some problems. They had some linebackers on defense that were pretty savvy kids. Coach Young, what have you seen from their team on film, and how do you like the matchup? Do they have overarching things that concern you?
Well, I always use the saying with my team, it's never as good as it seems, never as bad as it seems. You can say the same thing about the Lawrence Raiders. They've played Hillcrest, Clinton, who just won the state championship last year, and they played AC Flora last week, who's a championship contender every year, have won a championship in the last 5 years. I don't know who was coaching that team, but yeah. But anyway, and then they just played four hammers, and so 17 points. That doesn't tell, like you said, the whole story. They've got a good running back, same one from last year. They've changed offenses from last year. They're trying to fit a skill set to the quarterback, so their offense is changed to more of a spread look. They play in a lot of young guys. There'll be 2 freshman quarterbacks going against each other, and then when that situation comes up, you're relying on freshmen to lead the offense. You never know maybe what can happen. But our guys have prepared well. They've practiced well. Wes said it best. I think we're fired up, ready to go and get a win.
Well, Coach Cagle, what do you specifically see from their defense tonight from a matchup standpoint? What front do they run? What coverage? What things are we looking for to win some matchups?
Yeah, they're a 4-2-5 defense, and they put that nickel, that Sam, that overhang towards the 2 wide receivers a whole bunch. Not necessarily field and boundary, but towards the strength of our passing, and so we're really going to try to take advantage of just what they're trying to give us. Especially with us playing a freshman quarterback. Easton's done a good job this year. Evan's done a good job this year. The best thing they've done is not turn it over. Everything ending in a kick. Knock on wood. Here, obviously,
right there. Can you reach that? Your chair's made of wood.
But we just got to continue doing that. One of the best things I think as an athlete is knowing what you can do, but knowing what you can't do, and taking what defenses give us. And with the 4-2-5, there's certain things there, and it all comes down to execution. Our kids are playing their tails off, but it's about executing. On offense. So.
Well, Coach Young, they have 8 turnovers in 4 games, and now that you mentioned they have a freshman quarterback, that probably I guess the growing pains and that schedule they've had probably account for a lot of that. But is that something that you're trying to exploit this week as a defense, and maybe tell us about their offense and what gives you concerns about it?
Well, the first game they played, it was that weather game. A lot of that field they played on was miserable up at Hillcrest. So some of those turnovers happened in that game. Kickoff return, they fumbled. It's had some bad snaps and things like that. But we're not going to change the way we approach turnovers. We try to approach it every week, or at least emphasize it. But what concerns me from a defensive perspective is they had a week off. They're improving every week, and so what you see may not be what you get. When you see things that don't look crisp early, they may be a lot more crisp. The snaps may not be bad. The ball control is going to be better. Those kind of things that you see may not translate to what you actually get. Now, on our end, I hope the same thing happens. The things they may see, we've gotten better at too on offense. So we'll just see. Hopefully, we prepared enough. And defensively, Coach Kiesler's done a really good job. He missed all last week, or the week before Greenwood. He was sick, so we didn't have a defense coordinator for 3 days. He's back and he's healthy, and so I think that's helped our routine a lot on defense this week.
I kept trying to tell him athletes don't get sick.
Yeah.
Well, Wes, do you hope to play in college?
Of course, if I get the opportunity.
So Wes is a big, strong, fast athlete, y'all. And what's your height and weight right now?
6 foot, 220.
6 foot 220. Guy can run too. So tell us a little bit about your game, Wes. What areas could you still improve upon as you move through your senior year, and what is your favorite part about playing tight end? It's a really cool thing. We mentioned it maybe the first week of the show, Coach Young, that today's tight end H-backs are a lot like old school fullbacks, where they got to block, they got to run routes, they have to do so many different things. But what is your favorite aspect about being able to play tight end?
Definitely the versatility.
Yeah.
Like I can do so much with receiving, being in the backfield, getting a handoff every now and then. There's just so much I can do, and then,
What's if you had to pick one area of your game that you're hoping to improve the most between now and the end of the playoffs? What area would that be?
Definitely my footwork, because I can get there, but it's finishing the block,
blocking in space.
Mm-hmm,
Yeah.
Blocking in space, definitely. And I think it's not my strength; it's just my footwork.
Yeah. It's amazing. Even as athletic as Wes is, when you weigh 220 and you're as strong as you are, when you fly out there on one of them DBs, they don't want any part of head-to-head contact. So they're going to try to use their feet to get around you. And I remember that. In fact, my child who just walked through the room, I think told me the other day that he watched some of Demetrius Summers' highlights, and he noticed how many blocks that maybe I missed on the perimeter, but Demetrius made up for it. So I get it. Well, Coach Cagle, anything that you'd like to add about Wes? I know that you're not his position coach per se this year, but you are a tight end and you're heavily involved.
Well, yeah, because I played it, a lot of times me and Wes talk, about lining up and alignment and all that stuff, and we talk, just tricks of the trade, playing tight end and at, I wouldn't say a high level, but in college. And you made the comparison to a fullback. Coach Wilder calls it a B-back.
Yeah.
Because he sees it as the old school I formation fullback that, could take a handoff, could split out, could do all this stuff. And with Wes, when you have the skill set he does, he's a weapon. And, I think he's been scratching the surface. He had a big week against Greenwood. I think he, as we continue to weaponize him, he's a matchup problem blocking. He's a matchup problem running routes. And that's why colleges are looking at him.
That's awesome. Wes, we're going to send you through a rapid fire get to know you right now, okay? Right. So when I ask you these questions, you're just going to throw out the first thing that comes to mind, okay? All right. Favorite subject not weightlifting? Uh-oh.
Lunch.
All right. That's a true senior tight end answer right there. Favorite color?
Blue.
Favorite song?
Ooh. I'd have to see my playlist.
Wow. All right, you be thinking about that. If you can come back to it before the end. Favorite teacher?
I'd have to say the coaches.
Coach Hudson, hopefully that was a shout-out for you.
To be fair, he doesn't take many classes right now.
I have one class at the school.
Wow. All right, hobby or activity you enjoy the most outside of football?
Golf.
Golf, that a boy. Furthest drive ever?
I have no idea. Definitely not good.
Not okay.
No,
but you like it.
Yeah, I like it. I'm not very good though.
A dream car, if you could have any car in the world.
I think a Ferrari.
Ferrari. Favorite Coach Cagleism? Do you have one?
Coach Cagleism?
Like anything
Like something
weird,
I say.
weird Coach Cagle says that you're like, wow, that guy's a dork.
Well, it's not really just stuff he says, but at practice, I mean, he almost tackled a kid to the ground, celebrating with him, and I just thought that was pretty funny.
He definitely does do that a lot. Well, Coach Cagle, many people might not realize, but this is probably the first school you remember following your dad around the practice fields, being around the team, etc. And this is kind of a cool homecoming story, I guess, since it's our homecoming game. But I played here, of course, and your dad coached the defense under Jimmy Satterfield before White Knoll opened up. Any memories that you have of this place from when you were little, and also how cool is it now that you get to take your kids around this campus? We see them up here all the time. Your boys, and a couple of them are about the age you were when you were here. So what's that experience like?
Yeah, I mean, just growing up and coming here, I mean, my 4th birthday was in the wrestling room. And my dad would host like Wildcat camps over the summer. It was like all sports camps. And there used to be a sign when the old gym was the only gym, and it was no parking behind the gym. And I cut my head open on that one time. My dad let me keep playing, and then I had to go get glue in my head when Mom came and picked me up. She freaked out. So I've about done everything on here, and it's cool. Like when you talked about my sons came up here Tuesday to practice. They tackled one of Wes's friends, Mason. And my 5-year-old can't stop talking about it, about how he tackled I tackled a grown person, Dad. I was like, yeah, you kind of tripped him, but okay. So it's cool to come full circle. I teach right across from the room my dad first taught in. And so it's cool to see, like, people would be like, Coach Cagle, you taught my dad. And I was like, no, I didn't. That was the OG Coach Cagle. So
You're not quite that old.
yeah.
Well, Coach Young, aside from your guys, hopefully not being distracted by all the homecoming fanfare, what do you feel like are the keys to the game this week?
Well, I've told our guys to enjoy homecoming. Try to participate as much as you can. Enjoy it. But then when the game time comes, put that aside and worry about the game. Same old stuff. But it really does. I know it's cliche, and I've said it before, but cliches are there for a reason. Turnovers, got to win that one. Field position, we got to win that one. Playing with emotion. I challenged them last time we were out at Greenwood to play with passion and emotion, and they did. Our guys don't. We don't warm up really well sometimes, but then we translate it to playing hard on the field. So I've learned that about this group. I can't get too upset when they're not all emotional during our warm-ups. It's kind of like their personality. I'm learning that. So as long as we keep playing hard, I think the good things are going to happen.
No, that's awesome. Well, guys, I know it's been a long 2 weeks, especially if you're a Clemson or a Carolina fan. I guess both of us. So I can't wait to see our boys back on the field tonight. Homecoming against the Lawrence Raiders right here at Wildcat Hollow, 7:30. The band will perform at 7 under, of course, the leadership of Coleman McMurphy, who's also a grad. And all of our homecoming court will be introduced at halftime. The winners will be announced then as well. Wes, are the guys ready to get after it?
I think we are. I think we're aware that it's homecoming.
Yeah.
We haven't played in 2 weeks, and I think that we need to. We know that we need to stay locked in.
Yeah.
More than ever.
Feels like forever since we've been on the home turf too. So excited about that. Well, guys, thanks for coming on again. Thanks to Jouette Dooley and Dooley Law, another proud Lexington graduate and partner with Lexington football. Her sons, Porter and Tucker, will be up here playing some sports soon enough. Come out, join the festivities tonight, Wildcat fans, as we celebrate homecoming versus the Raiders. We know we'll have a packed house of proud Wildcats. Coach Young, very best of luck tonight. Go get them. And until next week, everyone, go Wildcats and hail to thee.